The words hit like physical blows. Why would we waste a Saturday on a child who doesn't exist to us? My father's voice through the phone speaker was flat, amused. The room tilted as my mother's laugh followed, a sharp clink of ice against glass punctuating her dismissal. You always overreact, Dina. Don't make everything about you. I forgot how to breathe. The celebration decorations mocked me from every corner, gold congrats letters trembling on their string, paper caps scattered like abandoned crowns, the graduation cake releasing its sweet scent into the air. My daughter's diploma lay on the coffee table, the ink still smelling faintly metallic. In the kitchen, Kayla hummed while arranging plastic forks into perfect alignment, a habit she'd learned from me. I pressed the phone tighter against my ear, as if I could squeeze some other truth from it. Have you ever stood in a room you paid for and felt like a trespasser? That was me. I pay their utilities. I cover their groceries. I send $900 every week and pretend it doesn't hurt. I told myself it was love. I told myself this is what daughters do when their parents are tired and the world is expensive. I told myself they were just proud in a language I couldn't translate. My name is Deanna Nelson. I'm 29, and I learned to hold my breath when I was 11, back when the only way to fit into my family was to take up less air. Today was supposed to be different. Today my girl stepped into her own future, tossing her cap into a sky that had room for her. I wanted my parents to see it. I wanted them to clap. I wanted the old dream to crawl out of its grave and breathe. Dad, I said carefully, controlling every syllable, I send you $900 every week. He chuckled. Yes, and you owe us more than money. You owe us silence. The word folded me in half. Silence. Like I'm a bill they expected to pay itself. Like love is a balance sheet and my daughter is an expense. A motorcycle growled past our window. In the kitchen, Kayla's humming paused, then resumed. Brave, bright. I turned so she wouldn't see how my mouth shook. Okay, I said, voice steady while my hands weren't. Okay. I hung up. The hum of our refrigerator filled the room. Somewhere down the hall, a helium balloon kissed the ceiling and whispered back. I went to the sink, ran the water, watched it ribbon over my wrists until the shaking slowed. I wiped my face, squared the cups, straightened the banner. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I picked up my phone again and opened the banking app. 40 minutes is a long time for a balloon to drift, long enough for a secret to ripen, for a door you kept unlocked to swing back hard and catch your fingers. As the first guests pulled into the driveway and Kayla's smile widened, I pressed one last button. Quiet, final, and waited for the house to feel the storm I'd called in by name. The screen went black when I hit confirm. Just one tap, the kind that looks harmless but ends bloodlines. I canceled the weekly transfers, revoked their access, and froze every automatic payment that kept their lights on. A strange calm settled over me. It wasn't vengeance yet, just air after years of drowning. The refrigerator's hum turned steady again, like applause from something invisible. Moments later, laughter floated from the porch. Kayla was welcoming her friends, her graduation cap still tilted from earlier. "Grandma and Grandpa couldn't make it?" one of the parents asked. Kayla smiled politely. "They're busy." The way her lips held that lie, like a child shielding her own wounds, sliced through me deeper than anything my parents had said. Inside, I set the cake knife down carefully, aligning it beside the edge of the platter. I didn't want to cry in front of her. Not today. Not when she'd burned the sky. At 6:12 p.m., my phone buzzed. "Mom, why is our card not working?" Then, "Dad, your transfer didn't come through. Fix it now." I stared at those messages, both cold as static, both written like invoices. I typed nothing. The guests started clapping. Kayla had just made a toast. I forced myself to smile and step outside. The wind lifted the golden balloons. One slipped free and drifted upward, the letters spinning. "You did it." For the first time, I felt the words were for me too. At 6:45, I needed some air and stepped out to the front porch. That's when I heard it. The sound of chaos from the street. Tires screeching, a shout, metal crunching, someone's groceries spilled across asphalt, apples rolling like startled hearts. Neighbors rushed out. I froze on the porch, the cake knife still faintly gleaming on the table behind me. When I walked closer, my chest turned hollow. A dark sedan, my father's, nose down in the ditch beside their favorite liquor store just a block from our house. Steam rising. Mom was on her phone crying. Dad sat motionless, one hand gripping the wheel, the other holding his wallet open like proof of something. Karma doesn't need permission. It just arrives wearing your habits like a mirror. I didn't run toward them. I just stood there, the party lights flickering behind me like ghosts. The air smelled of burnt rubber and spilled whiskey, their perfume of choice for every argument that ever broke me. Dad's eyes met mine through the cracked windshield. For a heartbeat, the world shrank to that gaze, not of a father begging, not of guilt, but of disbelief, as if karma had chosen the wrong address. Mom was shouting into her phone, her voice breaking between sobs and commands. Yes, we need help. My husband, Her eyes flicked up and landed on me. Dina, thank God, come help us. Funny how people remember your name when they need saving. I stepped closer, the gravel crunching under my heels. The hospital's only 5 minutes away, I said quietly. You can call an ambulance. Her lips parted. You can drive us. Your car's right there. Please, Dina, please. The same mouth that told me my child didn't exist was now calling me like oxygen. Behind me, Kayla appeared at the gate, her voice trembling. Mom, what happened? I turned to her, forcing a calm I didn't feel. Go back inside, sweetheart. It's just an accident. Stay with your friends. She hesitated, then nodded. The porch light cast a halo on her face. My reason, my anchor. I couldn't let her see this storm. When I looked back, the sirens were already painting the road red. Neighbors gathered, whispering, filming. I folded my arms and waited as the paramedics arrived, their movements brisk, professional. They loaded my father first, then my mother, who kept her eyes on me until the doors shut. For a long moment, I stared at the ambulance disappearing into the night, a white coffin with wheels. Inside, my phone buzzed again. Dad stable but shaken. I locked the screen. That night, when everyone was gone, I stood in the quiet living room. Half the balloons had sunk. The banner drooped. I cut the cake anyway, just for Kayla and me. We ate in silence. Sweet frosting, bitter aftertaste. As she fell asleep on my shoulder, I whispered, We exist, my love, even if they never see it. By morning, the city was drenched in rain, the kind that feels like it's washing old sins off the pavement. My phone was a minefield of missed calls. 23 from Mom, 12 from an unknown number that I knew was my father's hospital room line. I made tea instead. Mint, no sugar. Silence steeped in it. When the knock came, I already knew who it was. My aunt, the family's self-appointed messenger. Always the bridge, never the backbone. Her shawl was soaked, her eyes frantic. Dina, she began, pushing past me. Your parents are saying terrible things. They think you cursed them. I almost laughed. No, Felicia. They cursed themselves a long time ago. She set her purse down like she was laying down evidence. They lost access to everything overnight. No groceries, no bills paid, no heat. They said you did it out of revenge. I met her gaze steadily. I did it out of realization. Her lips tightened. You'll regret this. They're your parents. Were, I said softly. The word echoed longer than it should have. From the bedroom, Kayla called. Mom, my cat flew out the window again. Her little giggle floated through the house, untouchable. Felicia's expression softened for a second, but only long enough to whisper. Your daughter doesn't deserve this tension. End this before it turns uglier. I nodded politely and closed the door behind her. Hours later, as dusk bled into the sky, I checked my messages. One from Mom stood out. We raised you. We made you. Don't forget who paid for your degree. I stared at that line until my chest went cold. Paid for my degree. Like love was tuition, like I owed them an endless installment plan. So I opened my laptop. I scrolled through years of receipts, wire transfers, and bills under their names, all paid by me. The paper trail of a dutiful daughter. And then, one folder down, I saw it. My father's old email chain that I had access to from when I helped set up his account years ago. Subject line, investment, $900 weekly from Dina. And below it, a message that turned my stomach to ice. She thinks it's for us. Wait till she sees the portfolio. I froze. The email was dated 18 months ago, long before I ever questioned a single transfer. I scrolled further down, my eyes burning with every new message. Dad, she won't notice if we move a little each month. Make it look like medical expenses. Mom, good idea. She's too sentimental to ask for proof. Line after line, my parents' names appeared like signatures of betrayal. Smug, coordinated, casual. The words weren't angry. They were efficient, calculated. For a moment, the rain outside slowed, as if the world itself was holding its breath. $900 a week for 3 years. That was over $140,000 gone, buried somewhere in their secret portfolio. My hands trembled as I opened the attachments. Fake invoices, receipts, even an insurance claim for Dad's heart medication. I remembered those weeks. He'd sent me photos of hospital bracelets. I'd cried, wired money, and prayed. But those bracelets were dated the same day he was golfing. I wanted to scream, but instead I laughed. That thin, broken laugh that sounds like it doesn't belong to you. The room tilted a little. My throat felt dry, as if truth had weight, and I'd just swallowed it whole. Then my phone buzzed. Felicia again. Beta, they need you. The hospital bills are huge. They said you'll handle it. You always do. That sentence, you always do, pressed something dark inside me. I closed my laptop, wiped the screen with my sleeve, and said quietly but clearly, not anymore. When Kayla came in, I forced a smile. Sweetheart, do you still have that notebook we made for your graduation thank you cards? She nodded. Good, I whispered. We're going to write one more for Papa and Nani. That night, as she slept, I drafted the final message. Not an apology, a record. I attached the emails, the transfers, every proof of what love had cost me. Then I sent copies to my lawyer, to the bank, and finally to the retirement board that handled their accounts. By dawn, my inbox pinged back, one line from my lawyer. They've been siphoning your funds illegally. Don't worry, it ends today. Morning light crept through the blinds, slicing the room into quiet halves, one soft, one unforgiving. I sat there with my tea gone cold, rereading the lawyer's message like it was both a verdict and a rebirth. My parents had always prided themselves on being respected people. Sunday prayers, charity dinners, handshakes with the neighbors, the perfect portrait of generosity. But beneath that polish was the rot ignored for years. By noon, the first domino fell. My father called, not shouting this time, just hollow. Dina, he rasped. They've frozen our accounts. They are saying fraud. What did you do? The irony almost made me smile. I didn't do anything, Dad. I just stopped pretending. He paused, his breath crackling through the receiver. You think you're righteous, but you're cruel. Family doesn't destroy family. I let the silence hang before answering. No, Dad. Family doesn't drain blood and call it a donation. He hung up. An hour later, the news spread. The same relatives who'd called me too dramatic were now whispering about financial misconduct and embezzlement charges. My parents' names started to vanish from community boards and donor plaques faster than they'd ever climbed there. That evening, Kayla found me sitting on the porch steps, her diploma in her hand. Mom, she asked softly, why does everyone keep saying karma? I looked at her, this child who carried every ounce of kindness I once wasted on the wrong people, and said, because, sweetheart, sometimes the truth just takes a little while to find its way home. She nodded, thoughtful, and placed the diploma in my lap. Then we're home now, right? Her words hit deeper than she knew. The sun was sinking when my aunt texted again. Your parents are selling the house. They are leaving town. I stared at that message for a long time, the quiet hum of evening pressing against the windows, leaving town, just like that. I thought of all the times I'd paid their rent, their bills, their silence. Now, for the first time, they'd have to pay for something on their own. 2 weeks passed. The city forgot their names faster than I ever could. The same neighbors who once bragged about being invited to my parents' Sunday lunches now whispered pity behind curtains. "Such a shame," they said. "All that money gone." But money was never what they truly lost. It was control. I went back to work, to normal life, to mornings where Kayla's laughter filled the kitchen instead of my parents' demands echoing through my phone. Still, quiet nights had their ghosts. Sometimes I'd glance at my banking app out of habit, expecting to see their withdrawal notifications. But there was nothing, just peace. Then one evening, as I packed up old documents, a thick envelope slid through the mail slot. No return address, just my name scrolled in my father's heavy handwriting. Though they had moved away, they clearly still remembered our address. The same one where they had visited for Kayla's birthday just months before the graduation. Inside, a single letter. "Dina, we never meant to hurt you. You were always too emotional, too proud. You took things too personally. That money wasn't theft. It was what you owed us for raising you. Now you've taken everything from us. Your mother hasn't stopped crying. If you can find it in your heart to forgive us, we'll be staying at your uncle's for a while. You're still our daughter. Dad." I read it twice. Every word was wrapped in self-pity, stitched with manipulation. Not once did it say sorry. Not once did it acknowledge my child, their grandchild, the non-existent soul who'd been erased to preserve their pride. I folded the letter, slid it back into the envelope, and walked to the kitchen. The candle by the window flickered as I held the edge of paper to the flame. The fire caught quickly, curling the lies into ash. When Kayla came in moments later, she asked, "What's that smell?" "Closure," I said simply. We stood by the window, watching the last ember fade. That night, I slept without checking my phone. No missed calls, no guilt, just silence. The rare kind that doesn't hurt anymore. But fate, I've learned, never closes a door without leaving one small crack open. And karma wasn't finished yet. 3 full months passed without a word from my parents. Then I got another call, not from them, but from the very lawyer who'd helped me expose their scheme. His voice was steady. "Dina, I thought you should know. Your parents' investment accounts have been seized. The funds are being redistributed to the victims listed under their fraud case." "Victims?" I repeated. "Yes," he said gently. "Turns out they weren't just using your money. They took from others too. Family, friends, retirees, even a community fund under your name. They used your credibility to lure them in." For a second, I couldn't breathe. They'd borrowed my face to build their empire of lies. But here's the thing about truth. Once it starts, it doesn't stop halfway. Within a week, every penny they'd hidden was reclaimed. Their accounts were drained, their reputations stripped. The same local paper that once called them pillars of the community now published their mugshots under financial misconduct and elder exploitation charges. I didn't celebrate. I just sat by the window that night, watching the moonlight stretch across Kayla's sleeping face. She looked peaceful, untouched by their poison. I whispered a silent promise that the cycle ended here. A month later, a parcel arrived, forwarded from an unknown address. Inside was a small wooden box. No note, no explanation, just a tarnished gold bracelet. My baby bracelet, the one my mother once told me she'd lost decades ago. I turned it over, saw the tiny engraving, "To our miracle." For a moment, tears burned behind my eyes. Then I placed it in my daughter's keepsake drawer, not as a reminder of them, but as proof that even lies leave traces of truth behind. That evening, as I lit a candle beside the window, I whispered, "Some debts collect themselves. I just had to stop paying." The flame flickered once, then burned steady, warm, alive, forgiving. Outside, the world carried on. Cars, laughter, wind. But inside our little home, peace settled like a long-awaited guest. And for the first time in my life, silence finally felt like freedom. My parents were sentenced to 5 years probation and full restitution of all stolen funds. I haven't spoken to them since that day, and I've made it clear to all family members that our relationship is permanently severed. Some bridges aren't meant to be rebuilt, just remembered as warnings. Before you go, here's a quick bonus for sticking around. If you love learning and growing like I do, you need to try audiobooks. I've got an exclusive deal with Audible. Your first month is completely free. That's access to over 500,000 titles, zero cost to you. All the details are waiting in the description. Don't miss this one.